Here, you know what I'll do?
Hi, Joseph. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm doing all right. Not
Good, good. It's nice to
not
see you
great.
again. Oh,
Thank
I'm so
you.
sorry to hear that. Well, before we actually jump into what happened, I did want to ask about how your past week has been.
Um, it's been really rough, to be perfectly honest with you. I'm super emotional since the breakup. Um, Not to be arrogant, but nobody's ever dumped me before, and I'm really struggling with this. I can't, to be vulnerable with you, I can't stop crying. Like I'm just bawling, and I just feel completely numb, and I can't nothing that I like to do sounds fun right now. Um so I wish I could say I feel better.
Oh no. Oh no. I can totally I know what you mean, and I sounds really hard what you're going through, and I empathize with you. I'm very sorry. But I do want to thank you, of course, for being open about that. And just obviously to tell you that it does make sense that you're feeling overwhelmed and you're feeling numb. Those are totally normal feelings after a breakup. Breakups can bring so many intense emotions, and they can be very hard to deal with. So be patient with yourself, give yourself
Mhm.
some grace. It's a step by step. You're not going to be, you know, um, feel great after that. And it could take some time, but it's okay. Just remember that, we're going to work through this together, and, I'm going to be here to help you with that. Okay.
Okay.
I
And I
did.
appreciate that. I really do.
Oh, no, you're welcome. That's what
Mm.
I'm here for.
Mm.
I do want to share a skill from DBT that it actually it might help you in moments like these, when your emotions are really intense. It's called stop. It's a quick, we're going to pause before reacting in a way that you might regret later in the long run. I've actually tried it with a few clients of mine, and it has helped. So, how does that sound? Would you be okay with me walking you through it?
I'm open for anything. I just want to
Awesome.
feel better.
Completely agree. Awesome. Thank you so much. So let's see. So stop stands for S, stop, freeze for a moment. T, take a step back. O, observe what's happening. And P, proceed mindfully. This skill is really helpful when your emotions are running high and you're about to act without thinking. You don't want to do something, like I mentioned, you're later going to regret. So I feel like working through stop will actually help in moments like these. And with me explaining how stop works, can you think back to a time this week where your emotions felt really strong? Can you describe it for me?
Yeah, I ran across a picture of her, and it just I just lost control. I was angry. I was sad. I felt alone. It just brought everything up, and it was hard for me to deal with, to be honest with you.
Okay. What was your immediate reaction? Did you want to like pick up the phone and message her, or what was your immediate reaction?
Well, I wanted to throw the picture across the room. That was my
Okay.
immediate reaction. And then, like we talked about before, I'm not making contact with her. It's over. So I did have to fight the urge of, sending her a text and all that. But I didn't, but I just got really angry, and then that was my initial feeling was anger.
Okay. Okay. I totally understand that.
Mm.
That is actually a perfect example. So if we had to use stop, the stop skill in that moment. Here's what it could have looked like. And I want to share this just in case it happens again, or you have another experience where it's very similar and you want to use the stop skill. So for stop, don't pick up the phone yet, just pause, um, maybe just breathe for a second. Um, and then for the T, for take a step back, maybe set the phone down, walk away from the room, walk away from the area where your phone is, and practice breathing, practicing breathing in moments like these can be very helpful. Observe, notice what's going on, tight chest, racing heart, thoughts going
Yeah.
in and out. You miss her, it hurts, but like I mentioned, we will actually be going into some breathing techniques as well, just so that you can practice these in moments like this. And if you're also practicing the stop skill in a moment like that, and proceed mindfully, you have to ask yourself, what would help me feel better in the long term, being with this person, talking to this person? And if so, and let's just say you didn't practice the stop skill, what could you have said? And in a moment where you're enraged, where you're very upset, where your emotions are up and high, um, I'm pretty sure that would have affected how how the situation would have been, So, do you think this is something that would make sense for you if it ever were to come back again, or you experience situations like this?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that it would help because normally what I do is I just act, and then afterwards I'm like, like we had talked about before, I'll call her, I'll text her, and then I'm like, what am I doing? Why am I looking like this or acting like this? So this would really help me to just pause and have something to think about rather than just rage that
Mm.
I'm experiencing, and then that goes to sadness and all that. So yeah, no, I think that it could definitely help for sure. And it will come up again, I'm sure.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
and it's totally understandable. And like I told you, you have to give yourself some grace. Um, and this skill is actually meant to help, so it's going to help slow things down. And that way you can make different decisions, and the choices that you make don't affect you in the long run. So as I mentioned, breathing along with the stop technique can help a lot in situations like this. So do you want to try a quick breathing exercise to go with it?
Sure. Yeah,
Okay,
absolutely. Anything that will help me, I'm down for sure.
awesome. I love that you're very open to this. So we'll do a simple one. We can breathe in for 4 seconds and hold it, and then we exhale for 6 seconds. Okay, let's do it
Okay.
together. Okay, let's go. We could do it one more time. Nice. Okay. How do you feel?
Uh,
Yes.
Surprisingly, it feels a little bit better. Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great. It's about the small steps.
Yeah.
I feel like the stop skill, along with some breathing techniques, like I mentioned, will really help. And remember that even if it's not in a situation where you're very enraged or you feel, very upset, it can also help when you're feeling just overwhelmed about any situation. It could be personal, professionally, at school, with your parents. You can practice this technique with friends. I just feel like it can help a lot with any situation where you're feeling a sort of like a sense of being tense, or you can feel your emotions really skyrocketing. So I think it would be really helpful. And then now that we're practicing this, and it's on one-on-one, would you be open to doing practicing the stop skill, or even having some interventions in a group setting?
Hmm. Um, I guess it would depend on who's in the group, but I mean, I'm open to the idea. Is it confidential? I don't want people going around telling my business out to
Of
people.
course. Yes, it's completely confidential, and if there is ever a breach of confidentiality, we will be terminating group sessions. I'm just saying because the stop skill, when practice it with other people around your same age that are probably going through the same things you're going through, I feel like it makes it more realistic, and it can give it a different approach as if you were just practicing with your therapist.
Yeah.
It could be a little awkward maybe, but I feel like if you practice it with someone that's, in the same situation as you are, it can make it a little bit more organically, where it'll be easier for you to adapt.
Yeah. I think I would be open to try that.
Awesome. Awesome. Okay, that's great.
Mhm.
I'm really glad to hear that you're open to all of this. So I do want to tell you, obviously, you did really great. I do, like I mentioned, going through a heartbreak and like as you're saying, it is a very intense moment. Emotions are high. One moment you can feel very angry, another moment you can be very sad. And then at a different moment you can feel like, you're completely, totally over this person, but then you can feel again sadness the day after, a week after. It's just you gotta roll with the feelings and not suppress them. And of course, practicing the stop skill. You can always do that because going through a heartbreak can take months, and I would hate for you to be doing well and then suddenly, out of a reaction of rage, you do something you will later regret that you can't take back.
Yeah.
For that, I just wanted to see if you wanted me to send you some handouts or some videos on how the stop skill helps so you can, review them on your own time.
Yeah,
And
sure.
yeah,
Yeah, it's always helpful when you send me those things after our sessions. So, yeah, and for me to figure out how and when to do it. Oh, absolutely. I think that'd be great.
awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, and so yeah, I'll send those to you right now. And just remember that I think I would like to continue to try the stop skill in our next sessions. And also, I will be sending you information for group settings where we can be practicing these skills as well. And just let me know what you think. If you feel like it's a good fit for you, I can go ahead and enroll you in a group setting. And I do want to tell you that if you decide to go along with the group setting, therapy, and then later you don't want to do it anymore, this is totally up to you. We can stop it at any time and we can go back to individual therapy.
That's perfect. That's
Okay.
great. Yeah,
All
thank you.
right. Oh, no, you're very welcome, Joseph. Well, before I let you go today, do you have anything else you want to share? Any last minute thoughts?
No, that's it. I'm gonna take these skills and try and put them to use this week. So,
Yes, and I'm sure you're going to be successful. And again, I'm very sorry for what you're going through. Be kind to yourself. Just remember it takes time. And any little steps towards feeling better is something positive, and just focus on that.
all right, perfect. Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Joseph.
All
You
right,
enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you
thanks.
next session.
All right, bye.
Bye bye.